Alright, we got an interesting one here today. I wanted to post this video, make it kind of short, hopefully help some of you guys out there maybe having the same or similar issues, because I had a really hard time finding a video that could actually track this down for me. I knew, several things could cause the issue I'm having, but nothing's real specific, and we're not getting a code for it, but I just figured out what the issue is. So let me discuss that with you guys real quick. So I was out driving this thing, all was good. Driving normal as can be. All of a sudden I started getting a power loss, and because I have a cold air intake on this thing, the intake was getting really loud, and so the engine was making a lot of deep throaty sounds, and had about, I don't know, maybe 50% of normal power. And then I pushed the pedal down further, and the further I pushed the pedal down, the slower the car got. I was like, that's interesting. But I was still able to maintain speed limit. Had to go pick my daughter up from work, and then on the way back, within a matter of a minute or two, I had no power, literally no power. This thing's a 6-speed manual, and I couldn't even get it going. If it was completely flat ground, I could go maybe 2 miles an hour. Barely, basically the car would just idle going down the road, and the slightest incline, even like a 3-degree incline, I didn't even have the power to get up that, and the car would stall out. I couldn't make it up the hill. And again, I mean, not even a hill. It was like this thing was just idling, basically. That's all the power I had. At idle, it seemed to run fine, but if you tried to give it any throttle at all, even in neutral, I couldn't get it to rev above 2,000 RPM. It'd be like, make a real deep sound, and it would start like shuddering, and then the RPMs would drop back down. Pretty much at idle, I could have the thing clear to the floor, and it still would not rev up. So it makes it extremely difficult. We put a scanner on it, and it scanned for codes. The only thing we have on there is an evap code, which we've had on this for over a year, and that is not going to cause that. Evap issues could cause you some power loss and some rough idle and stuff like that, but it's not going to cut your car down to where it literally only has 2 horsepower like that, and you can't even move the thing. So that's the biggest problem. But like I said, the issue of lacking power and going from being able to maintain speed and then barely even being able to move 2 miles an hour happened all in the matter of just a few minutes. So that's probably why it didn't even have the opportunity to throw a check engine light for the issue that we were having, because generally you have to have it for at least a drive or two before the ECU, the computer in the car, will actually trip a code for it to make sure it's still happening. Plus, we checked pending codes, and there was nothing in there either. So it makes it really hard to diagnose, figure out what's going on when there's no check engine light code for it. Also, I'm thinking crank sensor, camshaft sensors, they can cause similar symptoms of that, but usually either the car won't run at all, or it'll, run really crappy, but you'll be able to go more than 2 miles an hour. But that's the only thing I could really think would cause that. Then I was thinking, what if it's the mass airflow sensor? This does not have a mass airflow sensor. It has a map sensor, which the plug for that is right there. Tried unplugging that to see if it'd make a difference, because, like, for example, if you have a failing map or mass airflow sensor, they'll run better with a working unit, obviously, but if it's so terrible the car will barely move, you can unplug them, and then if the car drives better, even though it's not going to run 100% with that part that it needs to operate properly, if your symptoms improve by bypassing the map or mass airflow sensor, then that's pretty much a direct indicator that that's your issue. So no mass airflow sensor on that. It does have the map. I unplugged the map, did not make a difference. Now this was a 90-some degree day, and with the humidity and everything, it said it felt like over 100, so it was hard to tell, but I thought that the engine was extra hot because I just touched the plastic here. I was like, yow! It'd be super hot. Same thing with this plastic engine cover. I could only touch it for like half a second or it would burn my hand. And I was like, well, it's hard to tell because it's like the hottest record day of the year, so I know everything's going to be extremely hot under the hood, but I did think it was a little hotter than it should be, but I couldn't verify that because of the outside temperature. But meanwhile, the temperature gauge on the inside of the car said the temperature was fine. So those are some of the things I was suspecting and starting to check. And I was thinking, you know, this has the electronic throttle body here. What if the throttle plate isn't opening? What if I give it throttle, but my throttle body's not opening? Then obviously I'm not going to have any freaking power, so it's not going to want to move. So that's why I removed my intake here. Again, this is aftermarket intake. If your car's stock, you'll have a plastic box you'll have to pop off of there. And verified that that is in fact opening. So you see the throttle plate open back and forth a little on its own. I was not doing that, but then towards the end of the video, I actually had it pinned and you can see the throttle body wide open, and I was barely like at 500 to 1000 RPM. So verified that my throttle positioning sensor and electronic throttle body and all that was working and opening as it should be, so that eliminated that as an issue. Now this whole time I was wondering if the cat had failed, even though this is a low mileage car, so I didn't think that was very likely. Came back here to the exhaust pipe, and for idle I thought it was putting out a decent amount of airflow. I mean, I had flow coming out of the exhaust. It was pushing against my hand. So it seemed like it was an adequate amount, because that's one good giveaway of a clogged cat is if you have like no exhaust flow at idle, or especially if you are able to rev the car up and you have very little to no exhaust flow coming out your exhaust pipe, then you got a clogged cat. But it seemed like it was given a decent amount of exhaust flow for, you know, 500 to 1000 RPMs at idle there. Although I noticed the car had only been running for maybe 2 minutes and the exhaust was already extremely hot, which really made me think there was something going on with the cat. Now that may not make sense at first glance, because you'd be like, well, if the cat's clogged and not very much exhaust is getting past it, then your exhaust at the rear of the car shouldn't be hot, right? But that's actually incorrect, because if you are bottlenecked there at the cat and 90% of your exhaust gases or more are getting stuck there and barely able to squeak through, that actually causes the cat to heat up and get really hot. So the little bit of airflow we did have making it past the cat, it would make sense that it was really hot coming out of the back of the car in only 2 minutes. And lo and behold, that is actually my issue, is I have a clogged cat. And the way I verified that, I used my oxygen sensor toolkit there. I'll link that under the video. But this first oxygen sensor here, the catalytic converter is actually in your exhaust manifold there. But I unscrewed the oxygen sensor there. It's just above where the catalytic converter is located down in there, so that effectively bypasses the catalytic converter, albeit it's only, you know, a hole about the size of my thumb. But a little 1.6 liter doesn't need that much exhaust flow unless you're, you know, full throttle and screaming the red line. And once I pulled that out, gave it a few blips of the throttle, and it vroom, vroom, revved up perfectly fine, just like nothing was even wrong with it. So that verified that the catalytic converter is definitely clogged up, which explains a lot of things like the super hot exhaust out the back, having no power whatsoever, the engine shuddering, the engine seemingly being extremely hot because all that heat was getting trapped right there. Now, if you do that, I would recommend only giving it a little bit of throttle just a couple times, because it's going to be shooting flames out your exhaust manifold there, and you don't want to melt anything or cause a fire. So, you know, don't go crazy with it. But yeah, I just blipped the throttle a couple times and she revved right up for me. Also, you want to be careful. You know, I had all kinds of crap come out of there from, you know, the nasty gunk that the catalytic converter catches for you, and you don't want to breathe that stuff in either. So that was what was causing the issue. Now, yours could still be going bad or be bad and you not have the exact symptoms that I do. Mine just suddenly, it was like an off switch. It just all of a sudden was completely clogged, and sometimes it happens like that. So I got no code, no real warning whatsoever. I was just dead on the side of the road in just a matter of a few minutes. So if you're lucky, it'll fail slower than that, and you'll actually get a code and check engine light for that. That will lead you directly to the catalytic converter. But if you have it happen really quick, like I just did, that's how I found out that it was the cat. But if you're having power loss, the car's running crappy, you can, you know, barely accelerate, you might just be in limp mode or something like that. So you always want to, you know, get it scanned. If you check engine lights on, see what it's telling you the issue is, and get those things fixed. But I knew I wasn't in limp mode, because limp mode would not let you only idle. Usually limp mode, you can, you know, it might stop you from revving so high, but usually you can go 30, 40, even 50, 60 miles an hour at times. It just depends on the car. But for it to not even be able to go more than 5 miles an hour and I have literally zero power, I knew I wasn't in limp mode. But if you're experiencing something similar, but you're able to go much faster than I am and have more than 0 horsepower, you could just be in limp mode and have a completely different issue. But it could also still be the cat, and that's a very quick way to check there, is just pop that top O2 sensor out before the cat, and it'll let it bypass the cat through that little 1-inch hole. And then if all your power is restored there, then you know the cat's clogged up. So if this video helped you out, be sure to leave me a like. If you need some O2 sockets to get those out, it's way better with one of those than a wrench that would round it. And a regular socket won't work. And it makes quick work of getting them out. I'll have that linked under the video as well. I also put a cat in there that I would actually trust. You don't want to go super cheap on the catalytic converters because you can have fitment issues. Not to mention the cat can fail in literally just like a few days of driving because they're junk. So I will link one that I would actually trust. Potentially the same one we're going to use. And stay tuned for the replacement and install video of that as well. It's not going to be as good as the original cat, but an original OEM Kia catalytic converter is going to be like $1,000. So I'll link something that comes in the 200s or somewhere around there that I would actually trust to put on my car and know that it'll get me through the next 2 or 3 years. But thanks for stopping by and checking this one out. Hopefully I solved your issue for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.